I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our first order of business tonight is our budget adoption. This is our public input session. So our clerk will go over that for us.
The public input session is actually after
Okay.
for the grant project.
Okay.
We've already had the public hearing for the 2018 budget. Rainy day fund $7,000. General fund $359,363. With our local roads and streets $45,000. Motor vehicle highway $65,000. And our max levy is $135,383. We've added the lowest special distribution for paving, which is $58,610.
I assume we need to request approval of this tonight.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion that we approve this budget?
I'll make a motion, we accept the resolution for tax rates for 2017, 18.
You second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will send this document down this way, if you will check A. Alright, please. Be fine here. We'll get a couple more seats.
Ooh, chair's good too.
Thank you. Okay, with that done, we now will move on to our public input session. Brenda Myers is here this evening from the Hennepin County Business Bureau. She's going to talk to us about our grant and
Thank you
some
so
of the
much.
proposed improvements.
Thanks for letting us come tonight. Now, I didn't get into a fight, although I thought about making up some big story about getting into a fight, but I ran into a pole, not with my car, not with me, but anyhow. I'm good. I'm good. Do not drive while distracted. So, I'd like to introduce Sarah Buckner, who will be the project manager and has been working with the town on this. It's about a $58,500 grant from the United States Department of Agriculture, and we are giving you a $25,000 grant to do some downtown improvements. And it's really important to know that the downtown improvements are to support the train coming to the town. That is the key reason is that, and also I love it that the residents will be able, it's for the residents, but it's also to provide some infrastructure support for the train coming to town. We have TJ here with Green Vista, we submitted a RFP, and we got several proposals, several people interested, and we actually got 2 proposals back. And we're recommending Green Vista. I think everybody here looked at the proposal. Not only was the price good, we felt like he really understood the scope of the project. And the idea is to create a place for people to gather, and also to create sit walls. So one of the things that we have to negotiate the final details of the project, because I'm worried we don't have enough. We would like to have some places for people to perch. You know, when you're out at an event, you like to have a place to perch. And so the idea is to issue the contract and try to get this done before the holidays. And so when you have your Christmas celebration, you'll have it done. The other thing, assuming the weather works, so far it's working for us, right? And so this is the public input session, and then we will ask you if you're willing to sign the contract and begin the work. And we will issue the deposit check from our office. We checked with the USDA, and our grant can go direct to, and then we'll work with you on supporting cash flow until the USDA money comes back in. So do you want to talk a little bit about the idea?
Sure, I don't know if have they seen the plan?
No, I do not think anybody's seen, I think
Well,
the
it's been posted up here.
Oh, it has been
and
posted?
The council
Okay.
has gotten this, but I don't know how many people have actually looked at it.
I have some other copies if you haven't seen.
if you have any
it.
questions.
Copies would be nice.
I don't have enough for everybody, but I've got some I can
You can pass
definitely pass
around.
around and
Okay.
show us.
Thank you for coming out tonight.
Sure. You guys have copies up there now?
Yeah.
So you guys are still up, I can pass.
Do somewhere.
Anybody would like to sit there?
Yeah. I do somewhere.
Okay, yes.
This is phase one of, the second phase is the, sorry, I'm talking for you. This is your project, Sarah, and I just stood right at the top. The second phase, we will look at, I think the idea was to pull the carpet up in the community center and polish that floor if we can afford it, right? Is that not
Where would the train go?
still an
So
idea?
this is-
Okay.
This is
And then the other
essentially
thing was to look at the restrooms and see if we have,
Yeah,
if
we
there's any
talked
way
about
to add a family restroom or,
When
you
we
know,
were over
add onto the restroom.
Polishing the floor
Polish the
Over
cement
This is
floor.
part area.
in the shelter house. We talked about that when we had
That's
the
what we had
meeting over
talked
there.
about, was polishing the cement.
At one point, I think that was brought up.
That was brought up, but we've not looked at phase two, but phase two is improving your community center a little bit, and we can go back, we have time to do that one, we just wanted to get this one done before Christmas.
So, yeah, so if you get into the nuts and bolts as far as like what the pavers would look like and the block would look like. So I was suggesting doing a patio area, if you can see, kind of see in the three-dimensional drawing there, of paver that you see somewhere to this paver here, kind of a reddish brown color, and then using a dark granite to black paver to band around it, and then to also make a, if you look in the drawing, you can kind of see the dotted lines to create essentially a railroad track line going through that patio to represent the railroad track and pull that theme into the patio kind of softly. So,
And there's sit walls, and then there's a fire pit. We thought that would be fun at the holidays and fall. The cost of running the gas line was too high, so we thought we would just do a propane one.
correct.
Right?
Yeah, there'll be two small, like real propane tanks underneath that fire pit, inside that unit with the stainless steel door to access to change out the pits. They'll have key valves that you guys would probably want to pull the keys out yourself and use whenever you want. So you'll be able to turn those on and off as you'd want to use them. And then, so that would just be propane and not natural gas.
And they're just a standard tank that you can get. Like
Yeah, so
anywhere.
it'll just be the normal gas grill style tank that would be underneath that.
I would assume it would be some type of briquettes on top of that.
Yeah, so we'll probably use either briquette or a lot of times we use like black and red lava rock, give it more of a finished look. So it'll have a burner, but you won't really see the burner because the lava rock will cover that burner up and give it a nice finished look.
Is there a cover over the top of that that can be closed off to keep the kids from throwing those out and tear?
That's up to you. We don't typically put a cover. Those are usually more custom made, something that you can find.
Because they won't be in there the next time. As soon as
Yeah,
they
no,
walk
that's-
away, they won't be there.
It's an idea though to look at some sort of, I think it's a great idea
Yeah.
to secure it.
I'm not sure the best way to tell you to do that. to be
Yeah,
honest
there's
with
a
you.
lot of vandalism and stuff over
Yeah,
at that park, so
I can,
there's
that was part of my
major concern
concern
there.
too.
There's a
is
major concern.
what-
We don't have to have the fire pit, you all, we could do, portable fire pits and have them tended. You know, that, I think that's a good question. We thought it would add a lot to the ambiance at the holidays, you know, if you have caroling or at the fall, you know, in the fall, but if you, if you think if that's worrisome to you as far as the amount of trouble it's worth, we could look at something, I run a live I'm like such an expert. I run a live nativity for my church that, you know, is attended by thousands of people, and we run fire pits, we just do fire pits, and we just have tenders, you know, and have water next to the fire pits. Mostly it's a safety issue, right? They do add a lot of ambiance though, you know, the wood
And I assume
burning.
with that type of pit, you would use wood naturally.
Yeah, we just use
Firewood.
wood, we just use wood, we just use starters, and we just, and you could buy nicer ones. I mean, that's the other thing we could do is build a fire pit, right?
Well, I mean, essentially, that could still be a fire pit and not do the propane burner, or the propane gas and propane burners, and we can just put, fill that with river rock and top it with lava rock, and then you can use a natural, regular wood burning fire as well.
And we
So-
could we could have a custom built wood top on it for when you're not using it, you know, that people could just put their.
Yeah, so it just depends on what, you know, when we do fire pits, it's usually 50-50 on which way people want to go, so it's personal preference, so.
I mean, that's a very good question though, is the maintenance of that, there's
Yeah.
stress on that.
Also, I suggested doing like a 12x16 pergola structure on one end of the patio area to
I
provide
would
some
love, I mean,
shade.
how much of this is the sit wall on the other side? I love the shade structure, but I also worry that there's not enough seating.
I just wasn't sure, from my aspect, I just wasn't sure how much seating you would be providing
Right.
yourself with benches or picnic tables, or kind of what would go into that.
I mean, we do have a little money, we could buy a couple of high-end, you know, there's that company in Indiana that produces the really nice heavy benches, what's the name? Is it a Warsaw or something?
I'm not really sure. We did a project last year for the town of Lapel, and they purchased several benches. I can probably find out where they got theirs
Yeah.
from if you need that. But.
We could do benches, which would give some flexibility. They run about, what, $1,000 each for a good one?
Yeah, I know they're not cheap for
Yeah.
a good one, but
It's probably cheaper than the sit wall.
it'll be cheaper than the sitting hall. Yeah.
So what do you feel about the pergola? If we could just not do the pergola, instead put benches in, it's up to you.
Well, I'll tell you, the kids would treat that like a monkey's wrench.
That's a good point, that's a good point.
Yep.
Kids see
You
something, they'll
wouldn't
climb
believe
it.
the kids.
Do they climb all over the gazebo?
Oh, they
Yeah.
climb the library. Yeah,
They're up on top of the shelter house.
yeah.
That's a good point, if we just put
What
some
kind of
nice heavy
excavation has
duty
to be
benches
done
out
for this
there.
stuff?
Usually about
How
8
deep?
inches. Usually got about 6 inches of compacted
Yeah.
gravel goes in, and you have about
I mean,
1
they'll
inch of
climb
sand,
the
about 2
benches
inches
too,
of
but at
paver,
least
so
they're less
usually
likely
about
to
8 to 9
hurt
inches,
themselves.
depending on what the grade already is.
For the benches.
Okay, that
Yeah.
lot over there is
Especially
full of
if you get a
trash.
good perk
That
quality.
used to be
Would you
a
see
restaurant,
the-
taverns, and when they bulldoze it down, they push all of it in the
Okay.
basement and the hole, so there's a very little dirt over the top of that thing.
Okay.
And they come out
Okay.
there and
So-
Oh,
that's-
yeah, where you do the camps and they make
Thanks for those, but
recycle.
we'll just
Yeah.
haul off whatever, and we're planning to haul off
Here, we're
and
getting
what we
poor.
excavate anyway, so.
Yeah, we're still experiencing settling from some of that, where
Are
it's
you?
got filled over there, yeah, they've had to repatch to some of the parking lot area and put
Where they go,
dirt in
where
some of
they
the areas,
supposed to
because it's
go
still
in the
settling in
park?
voids
Just
apparently.
wherever.
Okay.
Well, that's a good point.
Now, is these fence panels gonna be put up down along the west side?
That would be okay, what that is the existing fence that's currently there roughly. I know it's overgrown with, with a lot of vegetation. So what I suggested was putting those spruce trees in along the fence to eventually help hide and soften that area out.
Because without the owner's permission, we can't replace the fence,
No.
right?
Right.
We'll put a fence on our property right behind it.
You could,
I mean, yeah.
That fence is falling down and
Yeah.
deteriorated.
What hangs on our property, right?
legally, and you can check that, but I've always been told if it's hanging over your property, you have the right to cut it off your property.
Which would you prefer, a fence or the trees? What's the pricing difference? Would that be about?
I'd like to see both, I think this looks nice in here, nice new fence with the trees.
Yeah.
Do we, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to address that western exposure though.
Yeah, we'll put something really nice like this in and look over there, that falling down fence.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was trying to get you, try to do some plantings, evergreen trees and then.
Yeah, I thought that was a new fence in there
No,
whenever
no,
I seen that.
sorry,
It's like
I
that's-
don't have a way to make the fence look old and.
Every other
Yeah,
board.
Start drawing holes and stuff in it.
Photoshop that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Probably the way to do it, I'm just not that good.
Is there a way to put a fence though just on this side?
Yeah,
I mean, you do
can
whatever
put it
you
on
want?
Yeah, there's plenty of room over there, you can put the fence in. Then the issue's gonna be, then you're gonna have this 2 or 3 foot section to deal
Yeah.
with,
In between.
in between.
What's the requirement on fence? And you can go right zero lot line? Put it right down our property line, right against his.
Yeah.
I'm sure he won't mind anything growing up on the other side of it.
Are there any concerns with, we need to have a separate conversation about what the increased traffic will do to your community and expenses, and we will definitely have that conversation with you. But are there any specific concerns about maintenance on this property? It seems to me that you've put in pretty low maintenance material.
Yeah, I mean, you have more maintenance around the gazebo than you're gonna have with the new plantings going around
Yeah.
this. And in our proposal, we were planning on trimming, cleaning up all the existing plantings around the gazebo and getting that mulched and getting that looking good so it all matches and looks nice.
And then the gazebo painting is not included in it.
Yeah, we're not
But we,
painters, so.
we have either pay or we have an in-kind, we have people who are interested in some in-kind work if we wanted to give it a paint job as well.
And I'm happy to paint. Figure it out.
Although it's really not bad shape, I just don't know if you want to change colors or anything, but I think it's really, looks good. The only other thing we wanted to do was for the holidays, and I brought one. We wanted to buy a train light. They're 40% off. It's 17 feet to add to your Christmas decorations, if that would be okay. Just to kind of start talking about the train and photo op and just for fun. It's just a standard outdoor 17 foot by about 4.5 feet to put in the area somewhere and add to your Christmas decorations. I want to make sure you.
They carry it off. How
I
quickly they carry it
tried
off.
to get the Reynolds one, but
So since we're just like talking about all kinds of ideas, right?
yeah.
What about, and Andy had brought up, when the gazebo was originally built, there was the intention of having 2 entrances. So one would come off the back of it.
There's a ramp on the front, and there would also be one on the back.
Steps
Yeah.
that would go
Step.
down into that.
Kind
To
of
connect the
That would go
patio
down
to
into
the
this
gazebo.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I tossed around that idea
and
too.
another path to connect to the playground, to put an opening into the playground.
So the gazebo's here, right? So if we take away the pergola,
So you put a path here,
okay,
Right.
and then over here, they're talking about a path to the playground, which is right over here.
If you're wanting more benches, we
I,
should beef
we
up
could see
our-
what the pricing would be.
Yeah, I mean, but if you knock out the cost of the pergola, and I even had and it's not in the 3-dimensional, but it is on the overview drawing, I had like an arbor structure going over the seat wall to kind of match the pergola. But if you take out the pergola, I would take out that arbor structure as well, but then you could probably offset the cost and do those walkways.
Could we add some pergolas
Oh,
next year? I mean, nothing will be done that we couldn't add some shade
No,
next year.
pergola can always be added
if we had the
later.
money
Yeah,
left.
that's
Okay.
not a problem. And I knew putting it in there, I know it's with kids, there's
Yeah.
a chance to, I don't want to say destruction, but
risk.
they're kids, so.
Risk.
But in a sense, I knew you may want to try to get some sort of shade too in some fashion over there, so. But you already do have the gazebo structures that could provide that as well, so. It was just a thought, and just want to throw it out there.
I like that.
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me either
I
way,
think
but.
that's a great idea. It also helps with sort of the flow.
Yeah, for the gazebo.
Right,
Yeah.
because I did have a thought of connecting those, but there was not a back entrance really off that at this point, so I didn't really want to suggest that if that wasn't something.
To pull out one of those sections, is that hard to do? Says someone who doesn't do woodwork.
So what kind of maintenance does all this landscape brick entail? I mean, freeze and thaw, heave and hoe, there's nothing like that to be considered?
I'm never gonna say you have no maintenance or it's typically very minimal maintenance.
Okay.
The advantage to the pavers over like concrete is they're laid to essentially float. So where concrete, when it shifts, it cracks.
Right.
You don't get cracking with pavers. But say you're never gonna get a subtle pocket or a shift or something like that, and you have to reset something. There's definitely a possibility of that, but the advantage to that is you can pick the paver up, just reset the low pocket with gravel or sand, and set it back, and you never know it was done. With concrete, you can't make that repair and show that.
Has anybody been to the Nickel Plate campus, our Nickel Plate campus in Noblesville?
I have not.
And we used a lot of secondhand brick, and have you ever seen our little mosaic that we've done there?
I think
And
so.
that thing is as flat as it was 5 years ago. I mean, it's extraordinary how well it's held up, right? So it really is all about the drainage.
Right. If the base is put in properly, with gravel compacted properly, you should have movement. The problem is if you have stuff underneath that could settle shift and it can cause stuff on top to move. So if that was filled in years ago back there, then I could say that there's a chance that you could get some shifting on that. But the other option we can use, instead of gravel, there's a product out that's been out about 20 years, but it was produced in Canada. It's essentially foam, they're called gator boards, or gator base pads, and they're foam boards that interlock instead of gravel, and they replace gravel, but they take the weight out through the whole patio, and then if you, unlike gravel, if it settles, you don't get that settling with those pads. They're just more expensive than gravel, so that would be an option to look at if that has been filled in. That may be a better way to go to reduce
Could you give us a price difference?
Yes, I can price that out
okay?
for you. Yeah, that's not a problem. I prefer actually using those, but they just do add a little more cost. They cut down on labor because we don't have to excavate as much, but the expense of the pads themselves add cost.
So if they went with the benches instead of the pergola, would that help offset that expense, maybe?
Well, I think we're already offsetting that with the new
If
path,
you go with the
right?
walkways, it's probably gonna offset some.
But we can
It's
just
kind of
see.
give or take here or there.
Would add.
With what your budget is. I don't know, again, until I'd have to go back and look at what the path.
Well, and if we
really
take
had.
have we decided to take the propane and just have a fire pit, or do you like the propane?
I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I personally would prefer a natural pit versus propane. I just think that there's just some issues there.
Maintenance and stuff,
Maintenance,
yeah, and
vandalism.
vandalism.
I mean, it's just,
Vandalism,
to
kids
me,
getting
it's,
taken.
if you have wood, and I know that's not as convenient, but it's more controllable. I mean,
Would you prefer us to get a couple of portable ones that we can take away when we have, like portable propane that we can take away? And you could lock up and then not even build one in? And to your point of I was trying to get to your point, if we didn't do that, could we do that? I mean,
I can tell you, if you didn't do the propane off the bat, you're gonna save about $3,000 by not doing it.
would that almost offset the little under things?
But the pads,
Yeah.
probably, on the pads,
Be
yeah.
close to
I don't know about the portable ones. I think we should have
a pit.
one stationary for the wood burning. Portable would I think would be like a hassle, and then those can be taken too.
Yeah, you'd have to lock them up yeah.
How often would those be used though? I mean,
I'm not sure.
I just don't see that many people in Atlanta going over there and using it.
Yeah,
I
it would
think
be
with
for
it-
special events. and-
With it there, that may be something new. Right now, obviously, we don't have fires in the park. We used to have an annual Halloween deal at the park years ago. I don't know if any of you remember that, but we had a hayride and a thing for the kids, but that was down on the south end. But I think with the park, it does add.
I can see that if people rent the shelter house for a thing at Christmas or something, that they could utilize that fire
Right.
pit with their,
Well,
And
with
as-
everything with the train,
Yeah,
It would
and as the
mostly be
train
used by the
picks up-
train
I think we're gonna be using it
in
a lot more.
October, November, December. It would be part of the train programming. It would
I know
make
somebody who
sense,
can
yeah.
spice with wood.
Cause like there's a pumpkin train that was, and then we thought afternoon we'd have fire and if it was cold, you cool, you could kind of, sit by the fire.
Anything in the spring of the year as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'd be nice. I think you're right, though, that we ought to build something on top of it. Get a woodworker to build a lid on it that protects it from, and as it is, water's gonna get in there and trash otherwise, I think, too, and you don't want that to happen. So we can talk to a woodworker about that.
And you recommend pavers over stamped and stained concrete?
I would from a maintenance standpoint.
I wouldn't put concrete over there, it's sinking.
Yeah.
The basement, I've brought about 8 truckloads of dirt in there to fill in where that basement's sinking, and you can see the parking lot. We've patched it twice, and it's sinking again.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is gonna be hard to keep? Do you think that the new things that?
Well, I think the pads would definitely be the best way to go, because when they interlock, they take that weight
The
across.
dirt we put in 2 years ago hasn't.
Hasn't
Hasn't
sunk.
shifted, it's been
Yeah.
better, okay.
But knowing that what's now over there, I would definitely recommend the pads over doing the gravel base. Like I said, they were developed in Canada.
Cold weather.
Exactly.
So back to seating. We're ordering 8 benches. At least 3 of them will go on Main Street though. But we can get the benches for $375 at that. So what Andy suggested, and I think I agree with him, is that when we go down and pick up those benches, we should just get more benches down there while we're, because it's all the way, in Evansville?
It's in Evansville.
You guys familiar with those benches
Yeah.
through the recycling program?
That's what they were saying. I brought in bottle tops for
They're
those.
very, very heavy duty. I don't know, they probably weigh, what, Andy, 400 pounds?
No, I think they're maybe like 235 or 245. Yeah.
But
We
they're
have-
really
Yeah,
good
you can't, they're
benches.
not easily moved.
How
We
big is that?
have to put in 400 pounds
How
to
big
get
is
this
it?
cable.
Yeah.
Caps.
Twenty by-
20 by 38, I think.
Yeah, 20 by 38.
So you could fit, 3 more benches, 4 more benches
Oh, easily.
Yeah, you
easily.
get them in either 6 or 8, 4, 6 or 8 foot. We were getting 6 footers.
You have room for those in your truck whenever you're gonna go
Taking-
down?
Taking a trailer.
Oh, so you could, 4 more is not gonna be a
Yeah, we
problem.
can get
Okay.
additional benches.
Do you have to do more bottle caps to get?
No, that's without the bottle.
Yes.
We're done with bottle caps. There's about 1,600 pounds of them, but you can buy them outright.
Okay,
And if you want anything engraved on them, we have to notify them in advance so they can make it beforehand. You have to do it they're by appointment only. So you gotta kind of set it all up, make the appointment, and go down there.
okay. I think that would be great. I think that's a great idea. I said, maybe else.
It'll match the ones that are
Yeah.
existing.
Any other,
Any other input this evening? I mean, now's
these
the
are
time
all
to.
great. This is why this was really important
Yes.
to happen.
Yes.
You just don't think of everything.
Yeah.
You were talking about opening up the back of the gazebo.
Uh-huh.
I've seen what they
Oh,
do
yeah.
coming in the front entrance with their bicycles and everything.
Oh,
You're just thinking playground.
that's
And
a,
steps wouldn't even disturb, they would just ride the bikes down.
they're worried that if you open the back end of the gazebo, then it becomes
A playground.
You know what, we have cameras that were
A
approved.
skateboard.
We just need to get cameras
Evil
up over there.
We did.
I mean, we can't let.
Oh, darn.
Is it terrible, like, to have them riding bikes around there?
Isn't it, you can just put a
Like, I
gate
guess
on
if they're
it?
evil Knieveling off of the
They're probably
steps,
not
that
running
would
through
be.
there.
But,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's scary that they're gonna be bouncing, if they're gonna be bouncing through there onto that concrete. I just-
The only way I know to prevent that is if you put like a table or something in the gazebo where the.
I was thinking you
Or
could
make
have,
it-
you could have a gate.
Yeah.
Or ballards, I
You
don't
put
know if
everything
ballards
and
would be,
anything you want to in there and the kids will find a way around it.
That's
Mm-hmm.
I did.
We just need to set the cameras up and, you know.
I was such a
Put
nerd.
another roof on the other side.
Boys are different than girls.
I don't know, we got some girls.
I would read, I would go in the gazebo and read.
Put a roof on the other side.
I-
Brenda,
well,
what do we need to do this evening?
Well, I think
You know,
approve expenditure up to the contract amount and, or maybe a little bit more depending on what we think we'll negotiate. And then, I don't think you have to accept our grant, do you? You've already approved to apply for the grant, you got the grant, and now, the grant was hard to write, but it's stunningly easy to turn in the materials for them, as long as they have a paper trail and then you get the project done. Does that make sense? So this is phase 1 of the project, and so you could do an amount up to, but know that we're gonna be providing the deposit. Thank you, Sarah. That's why Sarah's here, is to finish my words. Does that make sense? So, I guess I would think, don't you normally ratify contracts?
We need our attorney to look at this contract, and with the changes in here, we'd have to have a revised contract with the actual price and costs on it.
Okay, well, we could do
And
that. I just,
one of the-
my biggest worry is his deadline to get started before the freeze.
They can approve a contingent upon the attorneys
Yeah, we do that. I didn't know if you could as a city.
if they
And I-
wanted to.
When you're talking about the down payment, what are you referring to as the down payment?
It's a third, and we're gonna
Okay.
pay that for you
Okay,
as
because
part
I
of
say, I
our
don't think
grant.
we can legally do that as a municipality pay for, it's gotta be work that's completed in order
Exactly.
to do that, so we can
That's
do
why,
that, so if
and we
you,
can, so we can make those deposits for, those down payments for you.
so then the second payment or whatever would just be work completed or whatever.
A
It's how it's
lot of times you do it
done.
at third, but something like this, we'll just do it at the end.
Yeah.
We could also put half down if it would be better. and
It's,
half
we
up.
can figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if you guys are ready to move forward, we can get started on this towards the end of October here. And I think we got about 2 weeks on it.
You think we can get, and usually you can do work till like November 15th, but this
Oh,
year.
we'll do projects like this to the ground for you, so typical till Christmas, but I know you guys wanna get it done for your
It'd be
holiday
nice
projects.
to have it, it would
What's
be
the
when you have your
ballpark
Christmas
figure,
tree lighting.
the difference on this, what we've got here versus what we've added or talked about?
Good question, I don't know, I have to go back.
Yeah, I know, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm just, we want the
I'm
price
working
to
tomorrow, and I
approve.
go on vacation, so I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow and
Oh, it's
dig.
Okay.
Fall break, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's fall break.
sorry.
But I'll get it all together tomorrow for you. I think what I need to know is what you think you wanna take out and what you wanna, so I know how to.
I have
Sure.
some notes too.
But I guess that you wanna know for firm lane, do we wanna risk the sidewalk and opening up the gazebo? Okay.
Yep.
We wanna
we're
take
good.
out the propane, but make it a fire pit, and whether that's round or oblong, right?
Take out the
You'll work on
pergola.
that. Then does it become square then, does it?
Right,
I'm sorry.
taking that out.
Take out-
If you take out the propane, does the shape of the,
No, I would still do a rectangle because it matches the length, kind of the
Oh.
L shape of
you
the
can just do
seat
it?
wall.
Okay.
Yeah. But-
And then, we'll work separately with another contractor on the lid for that, right?
How big is this fire pit gonna be, the actual burning area?
So again, I have to go look at the drawing, but I think off memory it was about approximately 6 feet long.
Okay.
And the inside burn area is gonna be, we can make the inside burn area whatever you want. That,
Make it smaller.
I think with you did propane, it was gonna be like a 12-inch burner down the middle, but if you want a little more room for logs, then we can make that a little bit wider, so we've got flexibility on whatever width you want. And if you don't want it quite 6 feet long, we can shorten it up, it just proportionally with the length of the seat wall, I think 6 feet is what.
It's good,
Right.
bigger burn it, and if it's gonna be holidays, colder, people
Well,
are
and
trying
I
to
think if
stand
you have
around
people
it.
over there longer, the fire pit is more, you can give
People
people.
stand around.
Yeah, around it,
Yeah.
right, right.
TJ, I have path from the gazebo to the seating area, maybe a path to the playground.
What I think I'll do is, I'll get you a price for the path to the gazebo to the patio, and then a second one option to the playground, and that way you can see what the cost would be.
That sounds good, we have to take away the one to the playground for now, we can always add that later. We can
Take that
always do
pergola out.
I'm gonna have the natural fire pit over propane,
Take
the pergola gone.
pergola.
Remove the pergola and the arbor structure, okay.
Yeah, pergola gone, and then the gravel over, was the word gator, is that right?
Gator base patio.
And the prices for that.
We're gonna put a fence up, we wanna put a fence up on that west property. You put something nice like this looking, and then everybody come in and sit
Yes.
and look at that place over there.
Yes.
Still park.
Yes, the parking stays,
Okay.
according to this diagram,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, and so that walkway,
Existing-
what we want to try to do is center that walkway up to the
Yeah,
middle of that.
yeah.
And then-
Yeah, we don't lose any parking.
Go ahead, Nancy.
We wanna put a fence up down that west property line.
Oh, yeah, the fence.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely,
let's add, did you do
definitely.
fencing?
We really don't. I mean, we could probably do it, but you'd be better off getting a fence contractor.
Yeah.
Do you
to
have
knock that out.
fence
Yeah, I
contractor
think,
you've worked with, or?
I can get you a few names.
Okay.
Part of the issue may be their timing, but I don't know.
But I think that would be
The
my
fence
will
itself
spent.
doesn't, I
I think
wouldn't.
so, you know, put something nice
It
like
could
this
be
and
even
look
be
at that
done
ice,
spring,
and
right?
never
Yeah.
get
It could
any
be
better
put on a
equipment.
later date.
So that would eliminate.
I don't think it'd be that expensive.
One way of doing it.
Depends on what type of fence.
I'd
it is.
still like the
Right.
trees
12
too,
feet
I
tall.
think those trees
Like
really
6 foot.
set
Exactly.
it off. Put the
Exactly.
fence up just like you
Unless
got
you
a new
have
fence with
closet
those
and
We're
trees
still
there.
gonna be able to
Yeah, I
put the
would
Boy
do.
Scout
Yeah.
But
tree,
they just
right?
said we can do that on our own in the spring, we can just add that in a
Fence.
festival or something, cause we gotta,
You can see how,
We
we
just-
can see how the money goes on the other project and then add it on at the
If you
end.
think you're gonna do that, just
How you
let me
plan.
know so I know where to set those trees,
Yes.
so I don't get them too
I think
close.
there's a strong sense that we
There
should
is.
do
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is.
Definitely.
But you think it's gonna be as close to that fence as
50 years.
possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably longer.
That would be my
Fence
preference
has been there 50
personally.
years.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, probably ever
How
did.
tall?
What was his name, used to live there, put that up.
These Black Hill spruce trees that you're gonna put, how tall do those normally get? roughly?
Black Hills normally get anywhere from about 25 to 35 feet.
Okay,
But
and how well do spruce do in India? I've got a couple spruce in my yard, and, 2 of them are Colorado blue
Yep,
spruce, and they're
correct.
dying,
That's correct. They have needle cast.
yeah.
So I have growers now that only sell
So-
Colorado blue,
Yeah.
but they'll carry the Black Hills in the north.
Okay, I don't know anything about Black
Yeah.
Hills, that's why I
Yeah,
asked you.
yeah, they're not nearly as susceptible to that.
Okay.
And so I was familiar with Brehon Nursery, but they don't carry blue, or they don't carry that stuff.
Is that due to the mild winters that we're having?
There's not a lot, they can't pinpoint it exactly. I think it's soil conditions. Actually, I think it's
They
the
like
humidity,
acids.
the temperatures that we have during the summer. There's just a lot of different factors.
Black spruce will do a lot better here.
What's that?
Your black spruce will do a lot better here, they're shorter.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
those are more
they're-
like a windbreaker?
What's that?
You're gonna put them where it's like a windbreaker type thing, or?
So they'll be staggered through
Well,
there.
okay.
But again, they were mainly in there to try to block his
Yeah.
fence too, but I think
Sure.
it does create more of a nice backdrop to everything.
Sounds great. It's exciting.
Thank you guys
Sounds
so much.
wonderful.
It's exciting and,
Yes.
I've been really worried to make sure that, because you all have done federal grants before, but I never have, and so making sure that we've been in compliance, but so far it seems so good, so. Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'd want for them at the end is to go, "Oh, I did something wrong. But, thank you very much for your
Yes,
interest.
thank
Thank
you.
you guys for being so excited about this. We are really excited about it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And when your Christmas lighting is, do you have a lighting?
We don't.
Okay.
we used to.
Okay.
We could, we could do it again, it was fun.
Yeah. we'll have to
You,
do-
oh, I thought we ought to have some sort of dedication or something, it would be kind of fun,
Sounds-
wouldn't it?
We
And
did that with
if
the
you're
rock
okay
color.
with me ordering that train thing, if it doesn't gross you out that it's too gaudy.
No.
The tree
And they're
light?
40%,
Yeah.
they're 40%. We could just figure out where to stick it in there. I know that it could be vandalized,
Why
you
not?
run a risk,
We-
but
yeah.
hopefully we'll never be.
Now,
Who's back?
the more that it all starts getting used, the less opportunity there's gonna be for vandalism, and they might start expecting it.
Be on the ground.
I think a lot of times, when something's not getting used, they take it over as their own.
Right.
We just have to figure out where to plug it in.
Is there power out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's power available.
You already decorate, right?
We
So-
do, just across the streets.
But we could do, I think that'd be just a fun tribute. And on the train, we're hoping to get a contract early November from the Port Authority. Right now, we will just be taking the train south of Arcadia, in phase 1. And we are still hoping to open in late May. And we have financing all together, we think, and equipment identified. So it's going along, and Sarah said, what keeps you up at night? We were having dinner, and I said, the train. But mostly this nonprofit behind the train operators are on it. Does that make sense? They know they know how to run a train, and they know how to buy equipment. It's the financing package, and then also just the nonprofit. But the nonprofit is in great shape, and one of the things we just met over was changing the name, and because the Arcadia Depot is going to become the new Flood Heritage Railroad, and they've been awesome. So we're very excited about it.
So you're saying it will run south of Arcadia?
Just south, just to the pumpkin patch, once we identify that with Bex.
And that's this fall, or
This,
what?
it'll operate, I hope, we'll have VIP tours. I think the town would be considered a VIP. All the sneak preview and people would be in, mid-May, and then we would have a soft opening Memorial Day weekend, and then we would jump in June. Next year. We have to do about, 6 weeks of rail restoration. $100,000.
So when do you foresee coming to Atlanta?
May, mid-May.
Next May? 18th, okay.
All the stars line up.
You should run for Midwest Rail Fest
You
in
look
June.
for volunteers at work?
We will look for volunteers. We would love to have volunteers.
Great.
And, huh? Oh, yes, thank you. Man, I meant to bring that. In November, this is why Sarah is so smart. She's great. The 13th of November, from 6 to 7:30 at the Arcadia Depot, and we'll send out information on this and you can post it. We're gonna have a public input session. So not only on the depot and what exhibits go in on the depot, because it will become a little mini museum like it is now, but more so, but also on the train rides, on what you would like to see happen when you ride the Bunny Express, the Sand Express, the
When is that?
Wine Express.
November 13th.
November 13th from 6 to 7:30.
And that
Snacks.
meeting will be at the,
And it's an open house, so wander in anytime during that hour and a half, and we'll have snacks and just wander in. You're laughing about my wine express.
Oh, we're going beyond wine, we're going to the whiskey and tequila.
I didn't think I'm calling it a spirits express, but when you look online at competitors, like, the ones that sell out, that have alcohol always sell out first, I just noticed that, but, no, we're gonna have adult trains and family trains. We will not have a lot of trains in 18, we're gonna ease into this, so. But by fall, we'll be in full mode, fall Pumpkin Express and, Sand Express by Christmas. So we have to, that's where all the money's made.
do you anticipate passengers for the Atlanta New Earth Festival in 2018?
Yeah, that would be the goal, would be to run Earth Festival trains and figure that out with you. And, but they would have to come somewhere from Arcadia up. So maybe they could come park at the high school parking lot and ride the train up. We could just do a shuttle service or something. That'd help you out. It'd be kind of fun. That would be an option. We could do a low price point on it. Does that make sense? And just run back and forth. We do have Atlanta Earth. We had them from Noblesville, but since we're not going to be able to afford to go to Noblesville this year, I also want to let some of that stuff die down there. Some of you have probably gotten those letters.
Well, I also know during the Earth Fest, they'd like to take a ride, start here, go down, then
And they
come
could
back.
do that,
so.
right? But they could go down to you could do it either way, right? You could either ride here and go down and come back, or you could come here, you could park down there, come there and go back. So we could just run them every hour on the hour or something.
Great. Awesome.
That's great. Well, the 13th, and then there will be plenty of other opportunities for people to provide input on that program of work. I can tell you the train operators are just really top notch. They're really good.
So Brenda,
Uh-huh.
Arcadia's gonna get the train in,
It's Arcadia and Atlanta.
but I mean, train's gonna stay at Arcadia?
We have to figure out where they're gonna stay. We wanna fence them in. The depot will be the office headquarters, but most of the trains will depart from here. That's the goal. And then you know how the depot has behind it kind of a gravel pad? We wanna finish that out a little more nicely, and for special events like Santa, we'll put a tent behind it. So you'll go in through the depot, and then you'll go out to the tent and then hop back on the train. I can picture at night driving up to the depot with lanterns everywhere, for our ghost train. We wanna do a ghost train, and, you really do better when you're the starting point financially, because that's where the money's spent. But at some point, trains might come Noblesville north to here. Does that make sense? But a lot of people will come here and they park here. So that's one of the things we have to sit down and really work through a lot of the logistics with you guys. Because, when you have 100 people here. wanna make sure that it's not a challenge for you. It really is important to me, and I'm not just saying that, that's not a platitude. I do not want this train to disrupt your town, but really enhance your town. But I need it to be successful.
Sure.
Financially, in order to survive, so.
Will it go on into Tipton at all?
At this point,
No?
no. I'm sorry, just the cost of rail restoration is so expensive. And there's just not a lot of people wanting to do that out there, invest in it, so we're gonna take the loan out on the line restoration and then lease the equipment back from the operator. Yeah, well, thank you all very much for being such a wonderful community to work with, and I'm excited to come and celebrate. Maybe we'll have some sort of park dedication or rededication or something, that'd be fun.
Sounds good, Brenda.
TJ leaves for vacation, Thursday. So, we have a few, like a week or so, while he's away, we discuss or look over anything.
We can get all the money transferred to you and everything, so you can start when you get back.
I'm not too worried about getting the money transferred, I just want
You're not that concerned, okay, that's good, that worried me today.
Motion on
I was
I mean, as
Tiffany
long as-
running in and
as
saying,
long-
we've gotta cut a check for TJ.
As long as we've got approval, I'm good, we can get things rolling on our end.
You can get this equipment step ordered and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can get things rolling. I'll just get the revisions made tomorrow on things we discussed. The only question I had was the walkway from the main patio area over to the playground, where do you want that to stop, and how do you want, because it's not like a good ending point, at least from my memory of what's over there.
We'll put a hole in that fence.
Like big enough for a bike to go through?
Yeah, of course.
So there is a fence over there.
There's a fence, we'll put an opening in.
Yeah, but you just want them to stop at
At the fence.
At the fence, okay, that's what I need to know, so I get a measure.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's
And then
not-
you'll put a
Put a gate in
or
there.
something.
Okay.
Gate or an opening.
Okay, that's what it is.
Awesome.
I'll get a measure on
And a ramp, that's a ramp, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the Green Vesta Landscaping contract, contingent to the Manny looking over the contract. And another motion, well, let's go with that motion first.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I make a motion that we set a amount of 50,000. You think it'd cover the changes? Not to exceed 50,000 at this
We
point?
don't want it to go to 50,000.
Yeah,
But yes.
I think,
I mean, we're already at 40.
I think
We
we're
have
at-
the money, it just leaves us with less money.
I think
to
we were
do
at,
everything.
We're at 40 even right now is what we are here.
Yeah, 40, and then, I don't know if you got it, but I
So
sent,
45-ish?
yeah, I sent another addendum for the gas fire.
Yeah, that's not on here. That's just
Yeah,
not
that was like
included.
another 3,000 for that.
So we're
doing that gas
gonna
burner.
add in
So if you, I think if you
pit.
try to stay with the 43 where that was at.
43.
Maybe
Not-
45 even too,
not-
in case we have
Not
any
to
other
exceed
change orders.
45,000.
I hear that.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My agenda is not to take all your money, I'm just trying to get you a
I really appreciate that.
I just wanna make sure we got enough that you get started, we don't end up
25
shorthanded changed and then have to go
The other
back.
20 will work on whether we kind of loan you money till the USDA money comes back.
Because they reimburse, right?
Yeah, they reimburse, so we could do that for you, and I'll just figure it out on my end.
Okay.
Sarah,
We'll look in the construction.
I have some cash reserves, I can loan some money in.
Great.
Well, depending on how quickly they turn it around, I mean, I could probably
I
work
just,
with
the
it.
federal
tomorrow.
government, I'm just thinking.
I know
Get it before they
with
shut
our open
down.
grants, they're pretty quick.
Are they pretty quick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, before they shut down in December, that's good, no, but they're pretty quick. I was just being skeptical, the state takes like 6 weeks.
The state takes forever. Oakers, that grant, it turns around pretty quickly.
Okay, great.
I hate to say that.
Well, that's right, we can always just
We don't
work
have any
with it.
money because we.
Yeah.
And then we're all okay with the decorations here?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine
Okay.
with me.
Thank you, and we'll just work on getting, I'll have it, can I have the sheet here?
Okay.
You need this. Does she need
I'll
that
put it
paper?
together.
No, because Sarah will
Sarah will
bring it up.
together.
I'll bring it
Okay.
up some Monday morning.
I'm sure, we have IKEA now, we probably use one of those little roundish things, yeah.
Do you need this?
Oh, yeah, I probably do, just to remember, I probably could find it, but this one's 40% off.
Love that.
You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excited about this.
Thank you.
Can't wait for all riding that
Thank you, Brenda.
train next spring.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, our next order of business tonight is the approval of our prior minutes from our last meeting.
I make a motion to approve.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on to our reports tonight. Andy?
All right, underwater, the plant's treated 767,220 gallons since September 26th, and our average daily usage over the last 2 weeks is 54,800. The filters were backwashed on September 29th, October 4th, and October 9th. I have a lift over here, but I have done our October back T. It's absent, and the October water report's been submitted to IDEM. The results for our lead and copper tests are back, and we don't have any issues. I've distributed the results to the sample site homeowners. Watson Excavating has started the water main project. We've had a few issues, but nothing serious, and we were stopped today by the Tipton County Highway Department for not having our right-of-way or road cut permits. I went to Tipton, applied for those, all the necessary permits for the project. They're reviewing the plans along with the county surveyor. He called me late this afternoon, but they agreed to allow us to keep working during the permit process, because I told them we were moving everything to the south side of the road. That water main that's east of the tracks is gonna come down on the south side, so they were okay. The only thing they wanted, but Bill already has it, they want us to bore the service lines under the road. But Bill planned on doing that anyways. He's got his own drill rig, so no issue there. Then I met with Andy Conover from the Hamilton County Surveyor's Office and applied for the 3 drain crossing permits that we need for the project, and they've approved those, and we have signed copies sent back to us. And after reviewing the water project, I've eliminated 17 6-inch valves, 5 8-inch insertion valves, 1 6-inch T, 3 6-inch insertion valves, and 1 fire hydrant. Fire hydrant, where everybody gets excited on the plan, was over by our town garage. And basically, we're gonna have, we have a hydrant now on the north side of our drive. On the plan, we're gonna have a hydrant on the south side of our drive. So we're taking that out, and we're gonna use it to replace one of the broken ones we have. We have 2. We have one by Toby's house and one at the library. Those are, they're leaking. They're not broken. We still flow water. But Bill had a delay on the fire hydrants. I had a new Mueller hydrant in the garage. I gave that to him. So I now get a Kennedy back from him. So it'll be those 2 new hydrants at these 2 locations. He's working on the numbers for it, but most of the hydrants on the plant had 3 valves in it, which really is necessary for our system. So that's where we eliminated some of those 6-inch valves. And then those insertion valves that we removed, we can either use a hot tap or shut the main down with the existing valve to make the connection. So I want to save that money to use it for other needed repairs. We've got a couple segments of water main that got left out. One would be the one behind the hardware, and years ago, that's why the weight limit's on that alley. You know, a trash truck went down there and broke that water main. So I want to replace that, and the hopes are, when he brings his price back, is that we can replace it from the north-south alley across Walnut to that, so it's not a dead end. And then down by Etchison on Central, between that alley by Frank Morris and Central, to replace that one. That's been another problem one that they were left off the project, so I'm hoping to get those back in. Bill's gonna be working on the pricing on that, and my suggestion to you guys, if we come up with money issues, is to eliminate replacing the 2 water mains that go up into Tipton. Because it's gonna be expensive. And, you know, the water main by the crop services one house, and the one going up 50 to the sewer plant services 2 houses. You know, so I haven't looked at those line segments, but I mean, it's gotta be over $150,000 to do all that. I wanna pull that stuff, I wanna pull that back into the city limits to address every issue we have here. But it will be coming, he's gonna be putting some other numbers together, they're all based off, you know, he's gotta base them off the project price already, you know, per foot price, so he's gonna be getting that back, to us soon. Then under wastewater, been performing daily checks at the lift station, and sewer plant. Sewer plant's closed and we're not discharging. Our weekly samples are complete. The September wastewater report's complete. It's been submitted to IDEM. And last Friday, on October 6th, dispatch called me out at 12:11 a.m. for a gas smell coming out of the sewers in Indiana and Jackson. There was a gas leak coming from a 2-inch main on the west side of Indiana, and the gas was getting into both the sanitary and the storm sewers, which brings me to our need to purchase a gas meter and manhole ventilation system. They're required for us by OSHA for a manhole entry, and it would have been helpful if we had a vent to vent those sewers that night. And we're also gonna need it, need this equipment if we're gonna be doing any manhole rehabilitation. The ventilation system and a gas meter is gonna cost us approximately $2,800. But, I mean, when we gotta work on these 12, 14-foot manholes, if we climb down in there, there's hydrogen sulfide in there, not only can you not smell it, but in under a minute, you're dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Then you're actually supposed to have, you're actually supposed to
Oh,
have
yeah.
watch them as well.
yeah, we are.
It's confined space.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of weird. Years ago, the town bought the harness, tripod, and all that stuff, but none of the other equipment. So, at least you can crank your dead body out of there.
What fund would we purchase that out of? Is that the sewage utility operation
It could probably come out of that or, depreciation.
or the situation?
Yeah, we've got
I know we have,
money set for equipment.
I make a motion, go ahead and get one.
okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Then I've been doing some camera work and manhole inspections, and I've identified several areas that need repair. And I also found a stormwater cross connection that I've ordered a plug for. But I don't know, there are some pretty unbelievable things in our manholes that I think if we fix, we're gonna cut down on this water quite a bit. I found one the other day that I never knew existed, and it's in that, we were decanting the back truck, and it's in that manhole there by Frank Moore's street.
Backed up in there yesterday.
Yeah, well, that line coming into there, the one that runs south down the alley, it looks like they took a sledgehammer and broke the side of the manhole out and stuck a new piece of pipe through it. And then all they did was take broken bricks and rubble and pack around the hole. I mean, the water was just pouring into that manhole when it was raining. So, I mean, that's one of the big ones we're gonna be doing, but I've been checking.
That's a sanitary.
Yeah, it's sanitary, but yeah, it's just draining that whole alley right into the sewer, and I just couldn't believe it, because I've never seen it, that pipe, but when they were decanting, I was just sitting there looking at it. I mean, they knocked a hole about this big, put a pipe in that big, and then just crammed broken bricks around it.
Didn't concrete it or anything, did it?
Nothing. There's no hydraulic cement around it or anything.
Wow.
So we're gonna be working on some of those, and then I got some shallow ones on the south end that have some big defects in them too. And we televised the sewer line at the concession stand, and it is broken outside the building in the parking lot. And
Again.
we'll be repairing that as soon as we can. We cleaned the root cut, several drains in town, the sanitary line on Jackson Street and the line heading south down that alley. We cleaned all the storm drains between Madison Street and Monroe on Central. You know, that area floods down there by Langhoff's. They're across Frank Moore's. And the catch basins and the lines down there were completely full. I mean, completely full of dirt and roots. But the line in front, I haven't cambered it yet, but the line in front of Frank's house, it couldn't be opened. We couldn't, they tried, couldn't get through it. But it's kind of weird that over at Busher's, there's a catch basin in the yard. We just got a line going out that goes to the farm field. And it's clean, so when that's filling with water, it's gotta be going out into the farm field. But it goes from that one to the one on Frank's north side of the drive, that then connects to the one on the south side of the drive. That one goes across the street.
Can we double check to be sure that's not tied into the sanitary, where the sanitary line
Well-
stops back there in that alley?
Right, it goes on back to that manhole, but I'm gonna camera that, because I wanna see where it goes, and then that one at Frank's to try and get an idea of what happened. there, it's right by the big tree. I mean, I'm sure the line's just been crushed by tree roots. Yeah, we're gonna look at that. And then, we also cleaned the lift station and the effluent channel at the sewer plant while we were here. We had our annual sewer inspection from IDEM, and I've not received the report yet. I mean, they'll be emailing you a copy too, Fred, but the only real issue they noted was our I&I in the collection system and our daily flows to the plant. But